Okay, welcome to a section that we're going to be talking about now, the laws of Trumot and Meiserot. As we translated tithe, take a tithe, right, a tenth of the produce. We started to talk about this on Tu B'Shvat. And what was the connection? Maybe you remember, Mechael?
Because it's the first fruit that you're giving to the. No, that's Bikurim.
Right, Bikurim. You asked me about that.
So it's because.
You know?
Why are we giving Meiser?
We talked about this on Tu B'Shvat because it's connected. It's connected because when we give Trumos and Meiserot, we have to know from what year is this produce from.
Right. We have to check.
Like you could have a certain tree. For example, we have a tree that's called Shesek. In English, I think it's called what is that Shesek called? Loquat. Loquat. Chinese restaurants, they served them sort of like preserved, soaked in sugar. In any case, there's some trees like this that they start to produce fruits early on in the winter. When I say produce fruits, so you could see like the buds kind of beginning, right? And even before Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat continues to produce more fruits. So what you're supposed to do on Tu B'Shvat, go out, look at your tree, and notice which are the fruits that have already started to grow. Those are part of last year. You cannot, and anything that comes after that is going to be the new year. So it's like on the same tree you have two different batches. Some fruits are from last year. Those have to be taken and separate the Truma Meiser with the other fruits from last year. The ones that start to grow after Tu B'Shvat, those you have to put in the new batch, the new group. What?
That's like the timeline.
It's the cutoff point for how we know when is the fruits from the old year, when are the fruits from the new year.
So if I have an orange tree, let's say.
Oranges could also be like that.
Yeah, okay, let's say. And before Tu B'Shvat, you had like little buds and like starting, so everything that started before Tu B'Shvat, I need to grow out.
Those ones that have not just flowers, but actual beginning of fruits. You have a tree like that?
No,
like
in
here?
theory.
No, there are. The citrus fruits also have that difficulty where sometimes one is not so simple. Which fruits come from before Tu B'Shvat, which ones are after? But theoretically, you're supposed to meiser them separately.
You know, yesterday there was a tree of an orange, and it had a lot of oranges. Obviously, they didn't all just grow since Tu B'Shvat, like 3 days ago.
No. Obviously, if it's already grown now, it's from last year.
So I need to take or no?
You need to. If it's something that, where did you get it from?
It was a wild tree.
A wild tree.
If it's public,
It was public.
Okay, so this is the thing.
And I
Like,
picked it, and I was about to walk away, and I was like, no, but then I'll have to do shuma and whatever. So I was like, no, I'll just eat it under the tree. And then I ate it under the tree, and it was not ready. And I spit it out. I was like, well, shame on it. Like, never mind. So
good.
then I didn't
Okay,
take,
it's
so
good
then
to
if
be.
I took, then I couldn't have eaten.
It's good to be careful. There's quite a bit of laws about when is a person allowed to eat something without taking Trumas and Meiser. It's like a lot of complicated laws about that. There are some situations where you, like a wild tree, which is available to everybody, you could take one at a time and eat it without taking Trumas and Meiser. That's called eating eating just like on the go, eating like just like a snack.
But I can't take like 5.
But if you take more than one, that's already called like now kaviyah. Like you're now like getting ready to like eat a lot, to eat a meal. then you have to take it.
Wow.
Also, if you take even one into your house, into your kitchen, into your domain, then you also, that also establishes it for Meiser. Also, there's a thing that depends, like if the all the work that goes into it has been completed. For example, like say you're growing olives to make oil. Now you just feel like tasting one. That you're allowed to eat because it's not finished. These are going to be made to oil.
So,
Grapes to be made for wine. It's not for eating grapes. It's to make wine from it. So till you make wine, you don't really have to take Chumas or Meiser from it.
So if I'm under the tree, I couldn't eat more than one.
No, you could take one, eat it, and pick
And
another
then
one.
I can't pick 3 in my hands and then eat one. So, well, that's crazy. I would have broken Halacha. I was so cool because I had 2 in my hands, or like 3 maybe.
Right.
And I was going to eat them all.
But it could be that what I'm telling you is when it's like a private domain. If it's a public domain, and there are the things that, not like growing here in like Bear Road Garden. That's kind of it's private for us.
You know, this was literally on the side of the road.
But if it's something where anybody could go and pick it, so then you could pick even 5 at a time, and you don't have to take Chumas or Meiser.
Wait.
Because it's public domain. It's not like something that belongs, like somebody's like going to say, you know, what are you doing here? It's, you know, get out of here. If it's a place like that, then you know, even if he says, you know, you could pick, then you can only take one at a time. If you don't want to take Chumas so much. But if it's something like growing here and by the Ayin, like next to the road, like there's next to the Beit Knesset, like a fig tree that makes really a lot of figs. So then, you know, who are you gonna give it to? Like if the Kohen wants them, come and take it himself.
Sure.
It's open for everybody. It's called Hefker. Anybody that wants to take it. You don't have to take Chumas or Meiser if it's something that's free and open, available to everybody. So there's a lot of
even if I take it home to my house and cook up a meal.
Right, even if you take it to your house.
I've never.
Where else do we see that? By wild things. Things that are not cultivated. The Rebbitzin went out to our own property, said, oh, this is Marva. It's, what is it called in English? I forget. Something that,
Okay, we probably don't know.
some kind of like people that are into foraging, eating wild foods. She makes green smoothies from it. It's like leaves. So she asked me, I told her, no, you don't have to take Chumut and Meiser from this. This is something that people don't grow it, don't plant it. It grows wild. It's not something that's cultivated. We're only talking here about cultivated things that are cultivated. People
Have you
that
seen
are
that it's
cultivated.
under 3 years old?
Okay, that's Orla. Orla, we can't eat that at all. No matter where it grows. Even outside of Israel, you can't eat that.
Ah, really?
By the way, what I'm teaching here about Chumas and Maasrot, not so applicable to the people that live outside of Israel, unless you're in Syria, Jordan. It could be also there. You have to do it from the rabbi. But most places outside of Israel, you're going to be exempt, but can whet your appetite, so to speak, if you like to do mitzvot, to come to Israel. So now, here on this paper, Trumos and Meiserot, let's count them. Truma Gedola 1, Meiser Sheni 2, Truma Meiser 3, Meiser Ani Sheni 4, Meiser Ani 5. It looks like a lot of different mitzvot, but we can take care of them in one shot, like formula that we'll be learning. You can do all of these 5 mitzvot in less than 1 minute once we learn it. But the idea of the formula that we're going to be saying is like it assumes that you know what you're saying, what you're doing. So we need to really go through them one at a time to understand what these 5 mitzvot are, and then we'll see. We'll be able to do all of these mitzvot very easily and quickly. So let's go through them. Truma Gdola. What does that mean? Truma, as we saw, it means like from the word Ram. Ram V'nisa, like we say in the davening. God is elevated. So Laharim, right, to lift up. We're lifting up, and it's Gdola. It's Gdola because it's sort of like the archetype of all these 5 mitzvot. It's like the big Truma. Reishit Diganecha Tiroshecha V'Yitzarecha. The first part, right? Like we have in the beginning has Torah start. What's the first word in the Torah? Reishit. So here you have the word Reishit, right? The first part. The first part from the word Rosh, right? Rosh is like the main part of the person. He's like the beginning part. The beginning of Dagan, that's grain. Tirosh, those are your grapes and wine. V'yitzarecha, that's oil, from the word to shine. Yitzarecha. V'reshit geiz tzonecha, and the side point, the first shearing of your sheep. Also that, titain lo, you have to give to him. And it's obviously taken out of context, but it's referring to the Kohanim. The Kohanim, right, as we mentioned, those are not the people that have extensive tracts of property. They can't support themselves through their own agriculture. They rely upon the rest of Israel to support them, and in return, they're working for us in the Beit HaMikdash. They're doing the korbanot and the sacrifices. I think he had another verse in Tu B'Shvat that was by the trees, like it says, when you come into the land, right? When you're in Eretz Yisrael, then you're going to do these mitzvot. It doesn't apply outside of Israel. Also, though, we have to know that when you come into the land means when all the Jewish people come in, like the time of Moshe Rabbeinu and Yeshua ben Nun, right? They brought all the Jewish people into Eretz Yisrael, so we're not at that point yet. We have less. I mean, we have close to the halfway point, but it's not when we have, like some people say, when you have a majority of the Jewish people in Israel, also these mitzvot will apply from the Torah. But certainly right now we're doing these mitzvot from the rabbis. Why did the rabbis think we should do them, even though the Torah says you don't have to do it? Because we have to be ready, right? We have to train ourselves, we have to be knowledgeable, so that when all of a sudden all the Jewish people come, or even half the people are here, then we're going to have to be doing it for actually from the level of obligation from the Torah. Right now, we need to do it from a rabbinical injunction, like a offense, or like a rabbinical command. What if we don't do it? Then the food that we're eating is not kosher, right? What? It's called tevel. It's called, like as I mentioned last time, it's like a mixture of what you're allowed to eat, what you're not allowed to eat.
What if someone's so poor though, and they just need their own food, and they're like, I just can't give it to the Kohen?
You asked me this last time. You really care about these poor people. But yeah, like we said, that sometimes it could be a big test for the farmer that slaved and worked and grew just like one little produce. That's all. He has to take part of it. Okay, but he's always not. As we'll see when we do this, you're giving a very, very little percentage away.
Can you give a peel?
It's just hard.
And okay, we'll see today. What if you look on the back here? You see there's a chart. We're supposed to be filling in the chart as we go along. And here you see the type of tithe, who gives to who,
Let's start.
Which years, how much do you have to give, and what is done today. So today you could give a peel. We'll see. In any case,
But I'll tell you, I worked on a farm, and I worked very hard. I sat there in the boiling heat, chopping up ground, putting in pipes, doing all these
Yeah.
things, planting little seed things, and like waiting for everything to grow. And this was like a teeny little garden, like a teeny little situation. And every time, like, oh gosh, there's something grows, I'm like, oh, and I have to chop like a piece of this off and give. I'm like, I'm gonna give you the root, like the gross part. Like I'm not like doing that. I want to eat this thing.
Okay, today we're allowed. We'll see. Today we're allowed to do that, and really, we'll see according to the Torah how much we have to give when we're actually obligated. From the rabbis, how much we have to give, and today what we're going to be doing. In any case, we have to have a munah that also tzedakah, that when we do what the Torah, what Hashem says to do, then we're going to get blessed, right? Hashem's going to give us a bracha. It's not just like we have to have, that's a basis of emunah, is that we know that we're not going to lose out. You know, like if we're doing what Hashem wants us to do, He's going to take care of us no matter what. Right? That's like has to be like our basic belief. And some people, I'm not saying you specifically, but some people have a problem, you know, with giving to other people. It could be very hard, you know. It's it could, and that's like and that's a very big what we call tikkun amidot. You know, when the person is able to do chesed and share and give of himself, that's that person's on their way to becoming a tzaddik. You know, where the person doesn't like the ultimate evil is something just wants to take for itself and not give. That's one of the definitions of evil, just to take, right? So, but if a person is able to receive and also share and to give to other people, that's already like a big tikkun.
Let's start with the first cube.
Okay, so who is giving to who? The farmer is giving it to who? To the Kohen. This is for the Kohen. Let's see. For which years is it going to be given? So we don't give it to the Kohen in the year when it's Shemitah. Right? We have a 7-year cycle. Right now we're in, I think, the 4th year.
What does the Kohen eat then?
What?
What does the Kohen eat then? Like, how is he sustained?
What does he do in Shemitah year?
Yeah, 'cause he's relying
Shemitah
on-
year, the fruits and vegetables that are grown are available for everybody. Even somebody has like a private farm, you could say, excuse me, the Torah says I'm allowed to help myself, and he has to make open the gate and make it available for people to come and pick. So also the Kohen, he could come and help himself. The farmer doesn't have to give to him specially. It's open for everybody. So in the 7th year, it's something which is we primarily don't do these mitzvot in the 7th year. The Shemitah year, it's really available for everybody. But in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those years are the Shemitah cycle. So it has to be given to the Kohen. How much do we have to give? So this verse tells us what is the amount that we have to give. What would you say? According to base what we read here,
10%?
does it say 10%?
1%.
Does it say a percent here?
No.
What does it say? The first fruits, right? Reshit. How much is that? It could be any amount.
Anything.
Doesn't specify. Doesn't specify how much to give. Just says before you eat it, make sure you separate off an amount that is for the Kohen. Let's say I have a huge, like acres and acres of grain, and I have tractors and workers, and I have like a silo right here. You put it on the conveyor belt, and it goes up and it empties into here, and I fill this up. It has a million bushels of grain in there. Once you bring it in to like a place like that, that's considered to be finish the work. Now you have to separate off Truma and Meiserot. How much do I have to give to the Kohen? The first part. What if I say, okay, I'm going to give him 1 grain?
The first part?
The first part. I'm saying I'm going to give to him. I have billions of bushels, of tons of grain here. Maybe like, trillions of grains. How much do I have to give to the Kohen according to what it says here? 1 grain. That's it. That's enough from the Torah.
But obviously people don't do that, right?
Well, not so obvious. Like people that are stingy, that's hard for them.
Yeah, but like
That's good to.
actually giving to.
It's good to know. Any case, it's good to know from the Torah.
Don't worry.
That's how much we are obligated to give, because it doesn't specify. It doesn't say when we say a tenth. That's going to be later on for other tithes, which is a tenth. But for the Truma Gedolah, even though we're saying Gedolah like it's so big, the truth is we could just give the tiniest amount in Hebrew, that little bit that we call it Kol Shehu. Just like
So it's not really.
that's all there is. Like you said, that's all I have to give. All there is, just the tiniest amount. Now it's true. I understand your concern that how is the Kohen going to exist? He doesn't have what to grow. He's going to come. How are you going to look him in the face and just give him 1 little grain? Get out of here. So the rabbis said how much you have to give, and they made a scale depending on how much you grow. Right? Let's say you're a poor farmer, you have a small little plot of land, so give them 1/60. Right. Less than that, it's considered to be like batel, like we learned from, or we will learn milk and meat, right? If it's less that and a mixture of less than that, it's like already you're not going to taste it. So you have to give at least that amount, 1/60. Okay. If you're a little bit more generous, 1/50, right? That's 2%. 2%. That's called a Benoni. That's the average amount. That's good. If you really like to be generous, like you're a person that maybe you have like a aspect, a character trait that you don't like to give, so maybe go overboard, give them 1/40. That's also considered to be like from the rabbis. More than that, that's like not good. You're going to make yourself poor. It's not.
That's ribis, no?
Not ribis. You're not aloning him. It's not like a loan.
No, but
It's considered to be like
someone too much money?
you don't want to give too much to too much of your hard-earned earnings, because they're going to make you poor. If you give
what's the word for that? Like, isn't there a word if you pay back someone too much money?
that's an loan. You give like interest. You charge ribis.
Right.
That's interest. So that's something else.
No, I'm saying you pay someone too much money. You give someone too much. Like,
No, if you want to
you
give a
owe
gift
someone
to
money.
somebody, like it's your grandchild's birthday, you want to give them 1,000
No, but
shekels. That's okay.
I'm saying
Give a lot.
If I owe you money, let's say I owe you
A
5
loan,
shekels,
right, a
and
loan.
I give
You can't
10
give
shekels,
more
I
than-
have to tell you this 5 shekels is a present. Otherwise,
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So what's that-
That's called interest, right? You cannot pay interest. You cannot charge interest. So we're not. That's not our subject right now. In any case, so what do we do today? So here, if we're going to be giving even 1/60 to the Kohen, that's a waste. Why is it a waste? Because today, the Kohen cannot eat this. This is food which is very holy. It's something which has kedusha. It's something that the Kohen has to eat in tahara, b'kedusha. What does tahara mean? It means what?
purity.
Purity, or not contaminated with, not defiled from death, which everybody is today, right? Everybody has, if they have not come directly in contact with a corpse, they've come in contact with somebody who has been, or who has been in the cemetery, or has been under the roof of it with a dead body. And we're not able yet to become tahor, to become undefiled. That requires what? The ashes of the para uduma, right? The brown cow has this specific process which is not available to us today. We don't have that kind of a cow today. Midreshet Hashem, we will. Once we get that, then the Kohanim can become tahor. Then they could eat the truma that we separate off for them, and then the rabbis will say, yeah, give them the right, give them a good amount. Don't just give them one crumb, one grain. But today, what do? We just give them the one grain, because that is what we have to do from the Torah. And the rabbis don't want us to separate off more than necessary, because that would be wasting. You're not supposed to waste, separate it off unnecessarily. Separate off what you have to. So today we just separate the minimum amount from the Torah. We don't give it to the Kohen now, because we don't even give it to the Kohen now, because that would, even that one grain would be like maybe a temptation for him. One grape, maybe he'd be tempted to eat it. So what do we do today? He can't eat it because he can't get tahor. What we don't even give it to him. It will be like what called like a stumbling block before the blind, right? A person who's like
How do you call that in Hebrew?
we call it a Mechael lifnei iver. The Mechael is like a stumbling block, lifnei iver. Even though he knows he's not allowed to eat it, maybe Yetzer Hara is going to tempt him, and that's also like a Mechael. So we don't give him anything today. We just double wrap it. You could bury it, you could burn it. What we usually do is we put it in a double wrap, and then we bury it into the trash. Since it is holy, we don't want to just throw it directly into the trash. You could wait till it rots, when it, set it aside, where after a couple of days it's rotten, then you could put it into your compost. Right? As long as it's no longer edible, so you could put it in the compost. If it is edible, so don't put it directly into the trash, but you double wrap it, then it's like in its own bubble world, and then you could put it into the garbage. Okay?
But I heard that you can't use it for your benefit, and when you put it in your compost, you're using it.
Yeah, I used to say that you can't use it for your benefit, but now I read differently that once it's no longer edible, it's no longer something that needs to be given to the Kohen. You could also put it into your compost. There are things that you can't get benefit from. That's like maybe milk and meat. Even if maybe they get destroyed, you can't get benefit from them. But these are not things that are forbidden to get benefit from. These are just things that are so holy that we can't eat them yet, right? Also, what the Kohen has to be tahor. Also, the food that we give has to be tahor. We have to separate it in a special way that we won't contaminate it. And
so what is done today?
So today we usually double wrap it and put it in the trash, and we only separate off the amount that the Torah requires, which is called kol shehu. A tiny, tiny amount, the smallest amount possible. Could it be from the peel? Yes. Could it be from the part that's rotten? Yes. When we actually give it to the Kohen, we have to give the very, very choicest, best part, right? And that could be difficult, right? Now he grew like some things that are really the best figs, that's what the part you should give to the Kohen, because that's the part that really is going to Hashem, right? As we said, it's like a kickback. Hashem gave you all this produce. You have to now give a portion back to Hashem to acknowledge where it's coming from. And Hashem says, thank you, give it to my agents. These are the Kohanim. They're going to accept it for me. And it's considered like you gave a sacrifice. Like you're giving a sacrifice to Hashem by separating off this truma. So how do we do it in practice? If we have here, let's say, is our orange, let's say, that we picked from Beirut Garden. It's like a private place, and we bring it inside. So we have to separate off a little bit, set it aside, right? And then we're going to say, you say like a bracha first, and then we say, this that I set aside is hereby designated to be Truma Gdola. And that's it. And then this part we would double wrap, dispose of it, and then the rest of it, after we do the other mitzvot, then we could eat it. What's left we could eat. Before it's separated off, this is called the tevel. Right, that's what we're forbidden to eat. That's a forbidden mixture. It's a mixture of what we could eat, what we can't eat. It's a forbidden mixture. Once we separate it off and we designate that that's the Truma Gdolah, now we've separated it off. Even before we give it to the Kohen, all we have to do is separate, right? Designate that this is something special, this part, and then what's left over becomes what we call the chulin, which means like what's for everyday use that we're allowed to eat. So that's what we're going to go on and see about the other things now. Okay, so that's the first thing, Truma Gedolah. Any questions? Good. Okay, so next we have Ma'aser Rishon. There's going to be 4 other kinds of Ma'aser. How do we spell Ma'aser? Ma'aser, and what does the word mean? It means, right, mem means from Eser. Right, divide the food into 10 parts, take 1, that's 1/10. That's what tithe means in Latin, a tenth. So there's going to be 5 mitzvot where we're going to need to take 1/10, and if you make a calculation, it would seem like that's 5/10. 1/10 times 5, that's 50%, right? That's not very much left. But don't worry, it's going to be, we're going to be able to have much, much more than that. Don't worry. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is Ma'aser Rishon, the first, right? Rishon means the first. This is the first 10th that we separate off. There's also going to be Ma'aser Sheni, the second 10th, and 2 other kinds of Ma'aser. But let's read about the Ma'aser Rishon. Ki et Ma'aser b'nei Yisrael, for the 10th of the children of Israel, asher yirimu l'Adonai, that will be raised up to God, Truma, as a Truma, something that's elevated, Netati le'Leviim. Who are we giving it to? Leviim, right? To the Levi. Nachala. That's his inheritance. Al-Kain Amarti Lehem, that's why I told them, B'tok b'nei Yisrael lo nachalu nachala. Amongst the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, you will not receive property. You're not going to have your own land. It's not entirely true, because there are 48 cities that the Leviim lived in. They received cities all over Israel. These were also called Arei Miklat, right? If somebody murders somebody accidentally, traffic accident, so he's like negligent, so he really could be assassinated now by the family of the one he killed, unless he takes refuge in one of these cities of refuge. So that's like those cities were given to the Levium, but there's the Torah says how big they are. They're not so big. They have like gardens outside. They have a place for their pasture, for their flocks outside, but it's limited. They can't really subsist. Not everybody in that city, so they have to go. But they get 10%, right, from all the rest of the Jewish nation. They're going to get 10%, so that's pretty good, and they don't have to be tahor to eat it. They could eat it even now, even if they're tameh. They could eat it now. So let's look at the back of the paper and try to answer these questions. So, Ma'aser Rishon, who gives to who? The farmer gives to the Levi, right? It could also be given to the Kohen, technically speaking, because the Leviim were kind of penalized. Like in the time of Ezra, they didn't all come back. They didn't come to Eretz Yisrael. Like now the doors were open. Now we're allowed to come back. This was the time of Ezra, Nehemiah, come back from Bavel. A lot of the Leviim said, well, we like it here. We like it here in Bavel. We're like part of the society here. We're accepted. We have jobs. We have property. Why should we come to Eretz Yisrael and build a new land? So they were penalized, and they said, okay, we're going to give. We don't have enough Leviim to give the Ma'aser to. We'll give it to the Kohanim. But primarily we try to give it to the Levi. In which years? So here also we do not give it to him in this Shemitah year. You only give it in years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the Shemitah year, he can help himself like everybody else. He doesn't have to get a special Maaser. How much is given?
Any amount?
So here, it's as the verse here says, Maaser, 1/10. We have to give him 1/10. And he could eat it. It's not like something that you can't eat because he's tamei. Doesn't matter. He could eat it. So this is really something that is supposed to be given. And what is given today? We could give him the produce. If you have a Levi that you know, that you're in good terms with him, you could give him every day you pick. Every time you pick, you could give him a tenth of the produce. That would be a good way to do it. In actuality, like usually we have very small amounts. Like maybe, we pick one apple, a few apples, and we just have like a few that are ready now. And the amount at 1/10 could be like a very small amount. It's like not something that we feel like going over there to give him, or he's going to come to get it. Very, very not worth his while, like for us to go and give him that amount. Big farms, then maybe it's a different story. But for ourselves, as as small farmers, so we do something which makes it a lot easier. We instead eat the Ma'aser Rishon and give to the Levi the value of it in money.
So we just donate.
Actually, yes, we donate.
This is what we do now?
This is what we do today. Like, here, I'll show you what I have. I'm planning to go there next week. This is a contract from the Machon Torah Va'aretz, the Institute of the Land of the Torah and the Land, and this is a copy of the contract that they provide me. I fill it out. I pay them a donation. And basically what this says is that whenever I have Ma'aser Rishon, that I owe it to the Levi, instead of, what I do is, according to this contract, I loan the Levi money. I'm giving him a loan. Say I give him like 100 shekels. I loan him that money. Now I go pick a lot of a lot of oranges. And I calculate how much is 10% of this produce that I picked. 10%, how much is that worth? It's worth 5 shekels. Okay, great. So I'm going to now give 5 shekels to the Levi because that's the Ma'aser Rishon that I owe him. But wait a minute, I already gave him a loan. I gave him a lot more than that. So instead of paying me back all of the money, you could pay me back the money minus 5 shekels. Keep 5 shekels of what I loaned you. That's what this contract says.
Okay.
So every time we separate off Ma'aser Rishon, we say the Levi could keep the value of this Ma'aser Rishon instead of paying back the loan that I gave him. That's what this contract says. And for Beirut, I have a contract like that. So everything we pick and we say that the Ma'aser Rishon is given to the Levi according to the contract that I've made with him.
You're giving to the Levi. Who are you giving to?
I'm going to go and check it out next week, but I understand, according to the contract, that they have like a yeshiva, and they have like some of the people that learn that yeshiva are Leviim,
Mm-hmm.
and they give the money to them.
Really?
Yeah, that I give a certain amount of money to this institute, and they take a certain amount and they give it to Leviim, and they say, this you could keep it because we know in the course of the year people separate off the Ma'aser Rishon, and in the end you're going to be able to keep it all. You won't have to pay it back. In the course of the year, all the money that you get, instead of paying it back, you're going to be able to keep it in return for letting the Yisrael eat it. So that's the thing about the Ma'aser Rishon, as different than Truma. By Truma, only the Kohen can eat it, only when he's Tahor. By the Maaser, the Levi could eat it. He could also share it with other people. He could give it to other people to eat, and they don't have to be Tahor. So that's what we do. We say, for right now, hold on to this money. During the course of the year, we'll be eating the Truma. We'll be eating the Ma'aser Rishon ourselves, and you'll get to keep the money in return.
Good, yeah.
So that's how we do it today. Okay, now we're going to do one more today. The third one here is Trumat Ma'aser. So here it sounds like two things, right? Truma, that's like the first mitzvah, Truma Gedolah. Ma'aser, that's like the second thing we learned, Ma'aser Rishon. It's a combination of both. Let's read what it says. Va'el ha-levim tidaber. To the Levi, you shall tell him. V'yamarta aleihem, and tell them. Right? Really, whenever you see daber, v'yomer, tell them in general. V'yomer, tell them in detail. Ki techachu mi'et b'nei Yisrael et ha-ma'aser. When you receive, or when you take from the Bnei Yisrael, the Ma'aser, Asher Netati Lechem, right? What did we give to the Levi? We gave a Ma'aser Rishon. So now the Levi's getting, wow, all this Ma'aser Rishon, thank you so much. So tell him, right, when you take it, when the Levi gets that, Mitam B'nachal Etchem, V'arimotem Imenu Trumat Hashem, Ma'aser Min Ma'aser. Tell the Levi he has to take a tenth from the tenth that he received and give it to God. In other words, the Levi has to also give Truma.
So Truma Ma'aser is the Levi giving to...
The Levi giving Truma to the Kohen, but just like he received a tenth, he has to take a tenth of his tenth and give it to the Kohen. How much is a tenth of a tenth? Of the total, let's say the Yisrael let's say this is the amount that the Yisrael grows, right? 100%. That's his total produce. and he gives a kol shehu, right, a little tiny bit to the Kohen, right, and he can't eat it now. It's not tahor. Only the Kohen can eat it. So we double wrap it. That takes care of the Truma Gedolah. Ma'aser Rishon, right? We have to divide it up. 10%. That goes to the Levi.
Okay. You have to do all this if you have your own fields?
Oh, we'll see. It's really very. When we have a certain formula that we'll learn to do all these 5 mitzvot very easily, very quickly. Now, how are we gonna? So, and we said with this Ma'aser, we could take care of that with the contract that we have with the Levi. We could give it to him, or we could just give him the monetary value. This we have to give, that Ma'aser Rishon.
But you guys do it already for Bill.
Beiro, we have the contract. You still have to separate it off. You still have to designate, separate this off.
You still have to get the Truma Gedolah.
Truma Gedolah, we double wrap it, put it in the trash. Ma'aser Rishon, right? This is the part that we have the contract with the Levi, right? This is for the Levi, right? And that is 10% of the total. Okay?
Truma Maaser is 10%.
Right.
Levi gives to the
Truma
Kohen,
Maaser.
and it's 10% of the 10%.
So the Levi has to divide it up and take away 10% of what he received. Right? How much is that from the total of what we grew?
1%.
Exactly. 1% is going to go, right, maybe here, let's put 1% like that. This 1% is also going to go to the Kohen. Right? Either the Levi gives it to him, or the Yisrael could also give it to him.
Each year is also the same, not in the year Shemitah?
Right. In the Shemitah year, we don't have to give to the Levi. We don't have to give to the Kohen. They can take themselves. So here, the Levi is supposed to take 10% of what he gives, which is 10% of 10%, which is 1% of the total, and give that to the Kohen. What do we do today? So let's say we have here 3 people.
Oh.
3 people. Okay, so my son asked me. He said, "Can I borrow $1,000 from you?" So I said, "Okay, fine." So I gave to this person $1,000. Okay, and now my son said, instead of me paying you back $1,000, I have this person. He really owes me. He's supposed to pay me $1,000. So since I owe you $1,000 and he owes me $1,000, would it be okay if he pays you directly the $1,000? I said, sure. Doesn't matter to me if you pay me back or he pays me back, as long as we get $1,000, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is what we're going to do here. So the Levi, he owes the Kohen 10% or 1% of the total, and so the Levi says, look.
So the Levi anyway is gonna end up giving it to the Kohen.
He's going to give it to the Kohen. So the Levi says, look, I owe the Kohen. Says you owe me, like you owe me this amount, and I owe the Kohen this amount. Instead of paying me the 10%, so just you give it to him. You give him the 1% instead of paying it to me.
But
You owe it. You have to pay me this amount instead of paying to, and I have to give to the Kohen. So instead of me giving to the Kohen, you just pay the Kohen directly. Instead of giving it to me, so give me 9%, not 10%.
When you say me, you're saying Levi.
To the Levi. So Levi says, instead of giving me 10%, give me the 9% that I'm allowed to eat, and the extra and the other 1% that really that I'm supposed to give to the Kohen, you give it directly to the Kohen before you give me the Ma'aser Rishon. Take off the Trumas Maaser and give that also to the Kohen. Give that to the Kohen. So that's two things that go to the Kohen. The Kohen is getting the Truma, he's also getting the Trumat Maaser. So 1%, and he also has to be only for the Kohen. He has to be tahor to eat that. So that part also, we're going to today double wrap it and dispose of it in the trash. Two things, right? Both the Truma Gedolah and the Truma Maaser that comes from the part of the Levi. And the only part that we have to give then is that 9% that we give the money, the value of it, to the Levi. Okay, you getting confused yet?
No.
Okay, great.
So, what we do again is double wrap.
Yeah, as we'll see, we're going to do these like simultaneously. We're going to give both the Truma Gedolah and the Trumas Maaser. Truma Gedolah comes from the farmer. Truma Maaser, that comes from the part that belongs to the Levi that the farmer is also going to give to the Kohen. And the Ma'aser Rishon is that 10% minus 1%, which is 9%, that's going to go to the Levi. Okay, so we have another 2 mitzvot here. We'll see, but we mentioned them last time by Tu B'Shvat. We're going to talk about those next class. And also I'm going to give you next class like a chart that's going to show you all of the all these 5 mitzvot, what they are.
All of these things we don't, in theory, we don't really do.
We do. We're doing them today.
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't.
We're doing it from a rabbinical, where the rabbis require that we do it today, even though from the Torah we're not yet obligated fully.
I'm not excusing them not to do it because it's, but what you, in general, what you do is you don't actually give anyone except for the Levites.
We give it to. Well, we'll see. There's also one other thing that we'll learn next time. Not going to say which one yet. There's Trumas Maaser. There's Ma'aser. There's Ma'aser Sheni and Ma'aser Ani. One of them we're going to also give. So, but also that's going to be with money. But but we are doing it. Remember, these are these mitzvot. Some of the mitzvot that the land depends upon them. Really, these mitzvot depend upon the land. That's how we say it. That the holiness of the land gives these mitzvot like a holiness, and by doing them, we are doing a tikkun. We're bringing the land back to life, making the land blossom for the Jewish people. So we are doing them, even though we're doing them only from a rabbinical perspective. But we are definitely doing them. Any questions?
Is there any question box? I think Gina put one in there, but I think we should wait for her to come.
Well, she's online.
Oh, she's online?
Okay. Night is the beginning of a day. What?
This is her question.
It's the beginning of the day that in the Jewish calendar. So when Hashem created us, we were asleep at night, or how do we see His day, darkness or light? So, that's a good question.
Like, what we were saying was like, if Hashem made, Bina, maybe you can explain it better. Like, if Hashem made, it was darkness and then He made daytime, did He create human beings when it was the nighttime or the daytime? If so, why does the Jewish calendar, like why does Shabbos and stuff all start at night, if in reality like to Hashem, it's 6 days of creation. It's not 6 nights of creation.
Mm-hmm.
So He didn't create us like our first day was a day, no?
Right.
So why do we start things at night? If
Right.
that's not the way
Right.
Hashem does it. If we're supposed to do what Hashem does.
Right. I hear what you're
It's a good
asking.
question, no?
Geniuses.
No, I didn't. This is Bina's question. I was like, what? That's a crazy
Bina,
question.
that's a really good question.
Good question.
Okay. Well, I should really show you like the timeline. That basically, if I remember, the first hour of the day really begins like he started to do things really when the sun rose. He started to do things. It was only like at a certain right before Shabbos that he sinned. Right, so it was like several hours from the time that he like I understand that. I'll check it, but I understand that like he sort of like he was created and then he woke up. Like when we wake up, it's like considered now like our soul is coming into our body. Now like we're waking up. Now like we're newly born. When we wake up, that's why you wash your hands. We're like beginning now to praise Hashem. That's like when our day begins. That's like when our life begins. But you're saying that he was created. I suppose he was created when he was sleeping. He was created, and then it took him like a while before he like woke up and became alive.
But then, if that's true about the day and how the day is the real day, then why does Jewish people start everything at night? That just strengthens the question.
At night is the like it's coming into reality, coming into actuality, but it's not yet actually having the full autonomy and like self-actualization that a person achieves once the morning comes. But the person is still like could be created, but
so
inactive. Like when we're asleep, he's not really active.
Right, but then why is it called day then? It should just be called like the night before the day. Like why do we say that this is the day now in Judaism if that's not actually the reality? Like the reality actually is that Adam woke up in the daytime. Hashem made the day. There was darkness and Hashem made the day.
All we're saying is that that the day doesn't begin like all of a sudden now everything like starts from zero. There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of stages of potential that are sort of like behind the scenes, like if I'm like the main character, someone was saying, then there's like a lot that goes into preparing like all the props you need for the play and the setting and the scenery, before you wake up and actually start to do things. So you have to like grow. You have to be. Your life has to like become more strength before you're like what. That's what night is. Night is giving you the strength. It's giving you the ability so that now at a certain point you've gained like you have enough ability and fuel and strength. Now you're able to start to wake up and do things, but it doesn't start with that. It's like a lot of preparation that goes into that. So we're beginning our day at the night because now it's like that's the real beginning of it. Like the beginning is like begins with things that we're not necessarily able to see. It's dark. We don't see anything happening. It's like now we say it's the new year of the trees. Say, wait a minute, I don't see any fruits. What you're telling me that now it's the fruits are beginning. I don't see any fruits. So you have to realize that even though you don't see them, there's sap that's starting to rise up from the ground. The roots are now beginning to raise up the energy so that the tree can now begin to make the fruits. So this is really the beginning, even though we don't see any fruits yet, but we know that the fruits are beginning to be formed. And now all of a sudden, wow, now we see fruits. Yeah, now I'm going to take a fruit. Well, you know how much time went in to preparing and making that fruit so possibly you could pick it, didn't just start at this moment that you picked it. It started way before that, back when the sap first started to rise up and the trees starting to make it. So that's why we start our day at the nighttime. That's like when things are starting to become formed. That's like the beginning. That's the real beginning, even though you don't see it actualized, but it's the beginning, and it's really beginning it, even though you don't see it.
I see.
No, you don't really see it because it's night.
It's like Mashiach also. Like, it's
Yeah.
not just going to be like, boom, Mashiach. It's going to be a
Right.
process. Like, everything's slow, and like, we could say like, oh no, we're really supposed to just calm, whatever. But it's like not the way it works.
Right. So there's like the world is supposed to exist for 7,000 years. Really 6,000 years, and then Shabbos. So we're in like the year 5,786. So that's like already like in the period of the 6th millennia. We're at the we're only 214 years from the end of the 6th millennia when Shabbos is supposed to begin.
214 years. That is nothing. My grandparent, like my great-grandparent.
Right, it's nothing, and that's why it says like Techias HaMesim, the revival of the dead could begin now, or another opinion is going to begin in another 4 years.
40?
4 years.
What?
2030.
I can't believe
2030 or 2026. But in this like calculation, like when there's like the same question, 1,000 years, is that like 1,000 years of day, or 500 years of night, 500 days, 500 years of night, of day?
And then they were sad, and then they made it, like, I don't want to, like,
Oh wow,
that's
that's
like, no.
that's very
You can't do
profound.
that.
So yeah, I'm taking a
Scary
chance by
about it.
telling you this, but
No, I really think
it is like
scary. You need to be careful.
It's
History-
gonna
Yeah.
come to 4 years, like,
but right. So that's why I tell you, it also could be, if not this year, it could be another 4 years. Could be.
Yeah.
But
Also, Mashiach in general, 214 years, whatever. Like,
but yeah, I mean, Mashiach
Can't say
is supposed to be already have be 40 years before Techias HaMesim, so I'm already disappointed about that.
oh.
It's supposed to already be 40 years before the revival of the dead. It's going to be the days of Mashiach, so
so
you have to
that's why
just
they
say
we're
that
in
we're already we're in the days of Mashiach, but we don't really see the Mashiach himself. That's like we're in like the days of Mashiach, where things are. We're coming back there to Israel. That's part of it. The days of Mashiach, where that's even supposed to be before that. That we come back there to Israel. Before it was like
70,
Kibbutz Galiyot, is before the 40 years of Mashiach. So I don't know. I asked big Kabbalists about this, and they couldn't really answer exactly.
No? Listen. No
But
way.
all right, I pray with you that our Torah will be proved true and we won't be disappointed.
Amen.
All right, so we'll continue this next week.